Well, here you see the $1 Million Man easing into the ring, Powers of Pain, Mr. Fuji, Zeus, all in tow. Of course, we're just shortly removed from No Holds Barred, and we've got quite the team coming to face these guys. Our heroes are going to be Hulk Hogan, Demolition, and Jake the Snake Roberts. And man, there's some interesting stuff to talk about here, but I think if the formula for pay-per-view with this company is right, we're probably going to see a Hulk Hogan promo in just a second, aren't we?
I sure as hell hope so. I love the Powers of Pain haircut. They're just opposite.
Yeah, well, it's fun, but imagine walking through an airport.
They wore do-rags.
No, how about no promo and the fans go crazy? I'm going to just play the audio here.
Hulkamaniacs, consisting of Jake the Snake Roberts. A lot of scores to be settled in this one, Jess.
How about the size of the snake in that bag, bro?
Yeah, that's nothing compared to the size of the snake that they wanted to bring out. And it was about a 20-foot python. No, it had to be bigger than that. This giant python that these 5 guys tried to carry. The head was bigger than any man's head. Okay. And this thing did not want to be held in any way, shape, or form. And it was had to be moved by a forklift in a giant crate.
All right, hang on. Let's set the stage. I feel like we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So we see the immortal Hulk Hogan coming to the ring here. He's got 3 tag partners here, Demolition and Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake was out first, huge ovation. He's over like Rover. And so since, he's getting separate entrances and his own theme music, and Jake is really connecting with the audience, maybe it makes sense for us to, instead of just having Jake bring a snake to the ring, what if we got one fucking gigantic snake and it took 4 guys to bring it to the ring? So you guys reach out and find your snake handler. Remind everybody about this fellow.
Yeah, he only had about 3 fingers and could see about 20% out of one eye and shit like that. So he's a real good snake handler, by God.
But what's his name, his background? What did he do for the company?
His name was Albert. He was, he hunted snakes and crocodiles and gators and shit like that. Whenever there'd be a flood in Florida, he'd be the first one there trying to, go find snakes and shit, because that's when they would all come out. And yeah, he was crazy. It was crazy to say the least. But imagine a snake that spread, that was bigger than that ring all the way across, with those 4 guys trying to hold it. And it didn't want to be held. I mean, oh my God, it was moving them. And those are some big boys in there. And they, they just didn't want to have anything to do with that. Jake's looking at the head of the thing and saying, how am I supposed to control it? He had both hands around it and couldn't control it at all.
So,
and it did not want to go back in the crate.
How does the snake get transported there?
In a gigantic wooden crate. Big wooden crate. So then when it's time, Albert, they brought it in because you couldn't lift it. So you had to bring it in on a forklift and brought it in. And then they opened up the crate and the snake came out. He was able to wrangle it and, get it spread out. He had a couple other handlers there with him, and they got it spread out. And it was like, okay, all you got to do is pick it up like this. So we'll show us then, big boy. Because Albert was a little fella and he couldn't do it. He says, well, I mean, maybe you guys can. And they tried, and it was just so damn big. So you got to imagine there's 4 guys there. You got 5 feet of snake in between each of them, and a big snake that if you hold your arm out, the snake, you couldn't get your arm all the way around it. it was intimidating to say the least, and it did not work. And we quickly scrapped that motherfucker. Oh, here we go. The match. This is money right here. This is only the second match they're having, right? This is before the Why Have a Merry Christmas when you can have a no holds barred Christmas.
Yeah, that's the following month.
This is after Tiny had given up on growing the Z out and
Just
just
shoe polishing.
That's not shoe polish.
What is it? Mascara?
Sharpie.
Oh my God. Is he drawing in the rest of the unibrow too?
Yes. Absolutely. And then sometimes it got really high and wide. Sometimes it was just so.
Well, sometimes the rhyme's slow, sometimes the rhyme quick.
You know.
How
sometimes you just don't sell shit.
I was fixing to say.
Ah!
How easy was it to be Zeus? Hey man, we just need you to stand there.
Well, big slam.
I'm gonna pick you up one time, just push off of my femur. Just jump right back up. You know what I just realized?
What's that?
They sent Goldberg to the Zeus School of Wrestling. If he starts selling in a little while and starts shaking his head, oh God, he just broke Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God.
Hogan's dead. I've seen enough ninja movies. I know what happened.
Dude, well, he's still moving. Only a Hulkster could do it.
He probably doesn't know he's dead yet. It's like chicken with the head cut off gimmick.
Yeah, that's true. Zeus just shoves the referee. You're not going to get away with that, Pally.
Yeah. Why is that not a DQ?
I would DQ him now. He counted to 5. Look at him. You see, you got to cover his eyes. Up twice. Do something, referee. There you go. You're out of here, pal. Oh, yeah. Get him out of here. Ah, come on, Zeus. Even his own tag team partners are saying enough. Yeah, you got millions of dollars, DiBiase. Yeah, we know. We know.
Your Lance Russell is your favorite now.
He's got the cash. Yeah, you'll get it in the back. Go on. Yes, the international sign on $1 Million Man. I got money. Let me move my fingers, Ted. Yeah. Go on. Your Z's coming off, pal. I thought that shit was permanent markers, man. And I'm being serious here. People think I'm fucking playing haha. But I always wanted to do the Z in white. And like when he had his hair, I wanted to bleach it white so it would pop off of his head.
He didn't like that idea.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody did. I thought, well, fuck. You make it white or almost silver. It would match his trunks and all that shit. And I just was like, well, I mean, it'd be different. Do his eyebrow. And it was like, no, that's not what we did in the movie. I said, yeah, but still it'd be cooler.
Here in 1989, is Hogan using his own dressing room? Or is he dressing with everybody else?
No, he dressed with everybody else.
When do you remember separate dressing rooms becoming a thing?
Not until after he left.
I don't mean Hogan. I just mean in wrestling, period.
Not until after Hogan left.
So who would have been the first guy?
Probably Hulk and WCW and people, talking about that. And, there was always, guys that kind of separated themselves from the pack at times. Warrior did. Randy did. But Randy did if there was a place for him and Liz to dress privately. So there was a reason for it. It wasn't a prima donna thing by any stretch of the imagination. And, go back. Yeah, there weren't, we had, even until many, many years later, announcers got a separate dressing room, so they weren't in with the boys. But even that was few and far between back in the day.
What would you say about, how would you describe Demolition again to a non-wrestling fan?
Two badass monsters.
All right.
That's what they were. They were scary.
Talk to me about Axe covering himself in glitter.
He's not covered in glitter. The glitter shine comes from the shit on his trunks.
No, he's like coating himself in something.
You think so?
Yeah. What did the guys used to put on their body to like make their shit pop and
hot stuff?
Yeah. I bet he's got some hot stuff on.
I bet he does too. Look at him.
I love that Jake was on the apron doing his best Sandow.
Yeah. No wasted motion out of Jake, by God.
No, he is captain, less is more.
And that's important.
Let's talk about something that we wish was maybe a little less. Meltzer would write, supposedly Coco Beware will be back early next year after being fired in Europe. Apparently Jim Troy, Titan VP in charge of international affairs and lying on pay-per-view buy rates, was the instigator of their fight in Brussels. Troy officially resigned from the company in order to work more in boxing, though he's still working at the same office and still a consultant to Titan. Later, Dave would write, Ann Bojack was announced as the new vice president of international and pay-per-view operations for Titan Sports, replacing Jim Troy, who resigned after his brawl with Coco Ware in Europe. According to Titan's press release, Troy left to pursue opportunities as an independent consultant for pay-per-view and international television sales. I got to tell you, we haven't talked a lot about Jim Troy, but whenever I hear his name, it's always with the fight. What can you reference to us about just Jim Troy, the person?
Jim was a hockey goon. Jim was a semi-pro hockey player that was a goon, guy that used to get sent in to go get in fights with the other team and try and get their best player thrown out for fighting and things like that. Jim was part of the Cape Cod hockey team that Vince had bought when he bought the Cape Cod Coliseum when Vince was first starting out. And Troy had some international connections, had always been involved in boxing promotion and things of that nature. So he and Vince had worked together, and Jim was the first one to go out and start making deals internationally for the company for tape distribution, live events, everything international. That was Jim Troy in the early years. And Jim, obviously fucked up with the fight with Coco, and it was just a kind of a bad scene all the way around. But he, this time, he quote resigned. But afterwards, I don't think he really had any choice at that point. I don't think he wanted to be around. I saw him in the office when he came back from Europe, and his face was a mess. So I think that I don't even think he wanted to hear if he was fired or anything else. I think he saw the writing on the wall and came in and resigned, was done.
Wow.
But he did, he had relationships with all the pay-per-view companies, and he was also our pay-per-view guy. So Jimmy was able to take that expertise and take those connections to the boxing world, where he was also very well connected. Jim and Basil DeVito were instrumental in Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. And so Jim started working with a lot of those guys and just working as a consultant with the boxing world. But he did not whatever he said in there about Jim continued office in the same building. He did not. He had his own office. He had an office in his house and then had an office in New York.
What can you tell us about the Coco Beware return? You know, obviously Coco was in a fight here, and you know, according to the legend, there was a lot of alcohol involved, and you know, guys sometimes do or say stupid things. Obviously, that happened here. There were some hurt feelings. It was a brutal fight, and you know, Coco's going to have to pay the price for some of that because you're not supposed to behave like this no matter what. Even though a lot of people would sort of side with him on this. It's not a good spot to be in. He's going to go home, and then you guys decide, okay, he's been in timeout enough, and we'll bring him back now.
Essentially, yeah. I don't think that, you know, I don't care if alcohol's the culprit or not. It was allegedly a really horrible scene, and I had.
Well, go ahead and catch everybody up. I mean, some of our listeners have no idea what we're talking about because we're talking about it in code so much.
Well, no, several of the boys had been out, and I think that they were in Paris or something like that. I don't even remember what city, or France, somewhere. I don't really know, but everybody had been out and drinking heavily, and Jim was talking about what a tough guy he was in the hockey world, and that, you know, his fights were real, not like, you know, you fake wrestler guys, and made some disparaging comments to Coco Beware about his size and just kind of laughing Coco off because it's like, oh, you little guy, you know, the fake wrestlers. What I did was real. And Coco had just about enough of it. So Coco's like, hey, man, you want to find out how real I am? I'll be happy to show you how real I am. And nothing happened at the restaurant, but when they got back to the hotel, it exploded, and they went all through the lobby of this really nice hotel fighting, and Coco, finally they got them separated. But Jim Troy was about 6'2", 6'3", big guy. And Coco's 5'9", maybe. And Coco, from everything I heard, I was not there, so this is all hearsay and rumor and innuendo. But I'd always heard that Coco, man, more than held his own and probably got the better of Jimmy. And they were both had a lot to drink. Jim definitely more than anybody else there. And when I saw Jimmy, when he came into the office after that flight, his face was pretty messed up. Coco's wasn't. But, you know, Coco called Vince right away and apologized and just said, hey, I had to defend myself. I had to do it. He's like, you can't be getting in fights like that on the road. And it's just unprofessional. So
did you hear the rumor that maybe Troy used a racial slur and that took it to another level for Coco?
I'd heard the rumor, but again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I do know, you know, from the consistent was the story of just Jimmy bragging about how tough he was and constantly putting the business down. But I could see where that would definitely be a last straw and push somebody over the edge.
Allegedly, the room they're in, I mean, it's got blood sprayed up the walls, and I mean, there was beer bottles, and it was a bad scene. Is that what you heard?
Yeah, it was a pretty bad scene. It went throughout the lobby, and not a good scene in any way, shape, or form.
What's Vince do in a spot like that? Does he hope it just works itself out, or does he feel like he's got? I mean, obviously.
Oh no, he sent them both home on the spot as soon as he found out about it, and got them on separate flights. Just said, get them both out now. Send them both home. I'll talk to them when they get here. And he told Coco, I was actually in the room when he told Coco. They had Coco at the building and said, you know, get him on the phone. So, and someone get a hold of Troy and said, tell him, get his shit and go home. Come home. Come see me when he gets here. And that was it. And he dealt with it and told him, he goes, I can't tolerate that. So that was a weird trip. I had left. We had done TV over there, and I bolted right after TV, came back, and I go into Vince's to kind of debrief him on TV and everything. And right then he's like, what the hell happened here? I hadn't heard about it. So I heard about it kind of right as all the news was coming into the office. So not a good look. Very unfortunate situation.
Very unfortunate indeed. We see,
also not a good look is Mr. Fuji's painting around his eyes.
You don't like that?
No, he didn't either. His face would break out. And that's why he wanted to get away from the powers of pain, because his face would break out from the paint.
He looks like a trash panda.
A what?
A trash panda.
What's a trash panda?
A raccoon.
Oh my God.
What? That's the name of our new minor league baseball mascot here in Huntsville.
Trash panda?
Yeah, the trash pandas. What's wrong with that, buddy? I'm not lying. Go look up Rocket City Trash Pandas. It's a real thing. You'll love the logo. I mean, I think you'll want this logo tattooed on your back or something.
I have no tattoos, Conrad.
I know, but you might make an exception for this one. It's pretty fire.
Would they make the drive up the mountain and go into my wing of the house, the mansion, and do it there?
Oh yeah, I could do that. I don't know that you know this, but
Clint you've got the tattoo room in the house now.
Yeah. Clint from Hershey is an amateur tattooist. He could do it for you.
What? I'm actually a professional. I got tipped once, Conrad.
Oh, there you go.
I saved money by not sterilizing my needles.
So Hulk Hogan.
And I only do purple ink.
Cleaning house here. Barbarian's about to get it, Tommy Young style. Help me
double elbows.
Help me understand. In this era, Survivor Series match, your tag team partners being covered for the pin. Normally in any regular tag match, you're going to jump in and break it up. But in a Survivor Series match, you just stand there like a fucking goof.
No, because if you did that, every single false finish would be a cluster.
I'm aware, but I'm saying, why do it in the other matches, but not these?
I don't like doing it in the other matches either.
But they did.
But they're wrong.
Why didn't you go tell them how to do it?
We did.
But they didn't listen.
No.
And
I want it changed right now.
I'm pretty sure you could say, hey, we're not doing this on SmackDown. Just freestyling.
Well, you know what? Oh, no. Come on, guys. That's not fair. Stuff pile driver on the Hulkster.
What? They DQ'd them both because of the pile driver?
Yeah. Get them out. Good call, Earl Hebner.
I can't believe they're doing this. This is not fair.
You're on your own, DiBiase. How much money is this going to cost you, huh?
Man, we're down to what's certainly a main event anywhere in the world. Hulk Hogan and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
And Jack the Snack.
Well, he's there too, yeah.
He'd be a main event anywhere in the world.
I'm just saying. How about the Mid-South influence here with DiBiase and your boy, Jakey?
Well, they worked other places.
Sorry, just trying to make conversation with you. That's what I do here on the show. And one of the things I've wanted to ask you about was why you moved away from the Survivor Series being on fucking Thanksgiving. because it was on Thanksgiving in like what, 87, 88, 89, 90, but 91, it goes down on Thanksgiving Eve instead. Of course, that's when the Undertaker would beat Hulk Hogan for the world championship. But chat me up. Why the decision to move away from Thanksgiving and instead do it Thanksgiving Eve?
Because all of our other pay-per-views were on Sunday. And the feeling was that, you know, Thanksgiving was one way to start the deal. It was a big day in the wrestling business for many years, and we thought we'd capitalize on that. But then it wasn't necessarily a big day for pay-per-view. And traditionally, all of our other pay-per-views were on Sunday. Thought, well, why in the fuck isn't Survivor Series on Sunday? Because it was the Thanksgiving Day tradition. Then it became the Thanksgiving Eve tradition. And then it was just like, just make it Survivor Series. And make it uniform like every other pay-per-view. Every other WWE pay-per-view was on Sunday. Win Survivor Series. Oh, well, this one's going to be on Thanksgiving Eve. And it just didn't make a whole lot of sense in the big picture. So the decision was made to change it up.
Fine.
Huh?
I said fine.
Don't get hot.
I'm not.
Why are you hot?
Actually, I kind of am. I'm going to turn the air conditioning on.
Oh, fuck you.
What?
It's like 32 degrees here.
It's warm here.
Just in your home or your mansion?
Silva was driving with the top down yesterday.
Yeah, but Silva always drives with the top down. I mean, that's just him. That's kind of rude to say.
What?
That Silva was driving with the top down.
He was.
Well, he can't fit in with the top up.
Oh, dear. Oh, come on, Bruce.
What?
That's mean.
But it's true.
No, it's
and
not.
His dog shits in the mansion.
His dog has not been back to the Conrad. I was low-key ribbing on the square here on the show about how his dog managed to find a way to shit on top of his own ass. And that dog has not been back. He is here for Thanksgiving though, by the way. The whole Silva clan is.
What are you having? Are you going to do the tamale Is tamales for Thanksgiving or for Christmas?
I don't know. How would I know?
Actually, no, I think they're for Thanksgiving, man. Because I'm from the South, man, and you always get your tamales. I think they're for Christmas, but this is crazy. I had a friend of mine, Vietnamese, and literally came over as a refugee on boat in the 70s. Built a business and had a little restaurant, Red Top in Friendswood. He used to make, so my Vietnamese friend who owns a hamburger place made turkey tamales, which were some of the most insane, great things I've ever had in my life. So I hope Silva brings over and will enlighten the Thompson clan to homemade tamales. It'll change your life.
Let me assure you, he ain't doing that.
Why?
Because that's just not what he does.
So you're not having tamales for Thanksgiving?
No.
That's really strange.
I think his wife is bringing a ham.
Boring.
We're eating, I love you for that. We're eating in like an hour.
Boring. No tamales.
Dude, have you been listening to 21 Savage?
Who'd that be?
Come on now.
He just got eliminated a while ago.
Well, you said boring, and I was like, wait a minute. I was kind of proud of you. There's a great line in here I'm going to let you hear on the show. I think you will love it.
On what show?
You know, this is a show we're doing right now about wrestling or whatever.
You mean Surviving Series?
Yes.
From 1989? That was a 3.
Huh?
Earl Hebner in a slow count.
Huh.
You know, for the whole damn match, we
Here you go.
barely saw Virgil.
Here's the reason I thought you were doing boring.
I had a threesome, then I flushed the rubber down the toilet. She tried to give me head, it was boring, cold.
You said boring the same way, and I was like, wait a minute. Does he know about that song?
50 Shades of Grey. Anyway.
You see, you're a little behind on your hip hop culture since you've moved away and not come back to visit.
I'm way behind on my hip hop culture.
Yeah, you're still singing a song from like 3 years ago from Lil Yachty, and nobody's singing Lil Yachty.
That's current to me.
Yeah, we can do better.
Oh, hell.
Anyway, I thought you would like that.
Yes, folks. This
Double
is what we
down.
do.
How about the double clothesline spot? That's old school.
You know what it is? Tom, you notice the young referee on the outside of the ring opposite the entrance?
Is that, who is that? Oh my God, it's Shane McMahon.
There you go.
How about that? Dude,
Keeping law and order on the outside of the ring at the ripe age. Good God, how old is he here? Maybe 18, 19?
I just saw the dark hair and I just assumed it was Gina's kid.
Nope. Shane O'Mac.
And here he comes. Hogan ain't putting up with no shit.
Oh, yeah. Turn around, Ted. Uh-huh. Yeah, there's one for you. There's three. Yeah, hit the ropes and eat this boot, Pally. Big leg. This is all she wrote. Come on, Virgil. Where are you now? Virgil's a shitty bodyguard.
I love the routine of the Hulk up. He skipped the block a punch thing, but Ted didn't throw one, but it's usually Hulk up, block a punch, 3 punches, into the ropes, big boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. I know that, people have been critical of routines, but I like that routine.
Yeah, because it worked. You knew what was coming. By God. Is that your favorite championship right there?
I think that's dual plated. Yeah, that's the best one ever made.
That very one.
Yeah, I would love to have that particular belt.
Well, by God. We'll go get it from him.
Well, he doesn't have it.
Hey, you want to know what just happened here in my home?
No, but I hear somebody hollering in the background. How about a yellow chair?
In my home?
No, on the screen, we're watching a show here about professional wrestling or whatever.
Well, it was from the Rosemont Horizon.
I'm just saying, it's a yellow chair. They need a red one too. They got to coordinate for Hulkster.
Oh, okay.
So what happened?
That's right, Shane McMahon. Get in there. A shell nut arrived.
Oh, goddamn.
We may have an appearance today on this show by John Paul Shellnut.
By the way, if you're not a longtime listener of the show, John Paul Shellnut is one of the most interesting characters in the history of characters. He is a real life great friend of many, many celebrities, and nobody knows why. And he finds himself in all these weird circumstances, including being Bruce Prichard's friend. But he talks like a character from King of the Hill. Oh, dang, don't boom her, man. And Bruce.
Dang dar boom hard gang.
Dang do boomhauer, man. Dang do boomhauer, man. And, for whatever reason, Bruce believes that John Paul Shellnut is in fact the inspiration behind the Sling Blade character.
I don't believe it. I know it. Read Billy Bob's book.
What's the title?
Talks about John Paul Shellnut.
What's the title of Billy Bob's book?
I don't know. Billy Bob's book. It's a book about Billy Bob.
What do you think they talk about in there? Billy Bob stuff?
Yeah, Billy Bob's life. Billy Bob's book. You know what I'm saying?
Since we're talking about Billy and Bob, you recently saw The Righteous Gemstones, which I urged you on this show to go check out.
Oh my God.
So do you like it? We haven't talked. So I base your response there on the fact that you've seen it now. Am I guessing right?
I loved The Righteous Gemstones.
But first, let's hear what Macho Man has to say.
Match. You'll meet Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake inside a steel cage team with the human wrecking machine Zeus, a man you've had control problems with.
Control problems? I'm not worried about control problems. What they did to Zeus in that squared circle a little while ago, man, I love it, yeah, because in that big steel cage, 15 foot high around the ring, there are no holds barred. So the fact that I can't control the human wrecking machine, I love it, yeah. Zeus has been chosen by the scepter, yeah, to get rid of Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania. The end of the road, big 15-foot high steel cage, no holds barred, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake, you're guilty by association. So you must fall also, yeah. I'm talking, this is it. This is the end of the road, Hulk Hogan. This is the time that you don't escape. We got you there. That's all that matters. And we'll take you to the bank. We're not gonna quit until this man gets rid of Hulk Hogan, yeah. Do you understand that, Hulk Hogan? Say goodbye to all the Hulkamaniacs, yeah. Chosen by the scepter, Zeus.
Let's go to Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
All right. Fuck the barber, dude.
Why you gotta say fuck the barber?
Okay. Hulk Hogan's here. We'll go to this audio too.
Gentlemen, it's going to be a no-holds-barred Christmas, Wednesday, December the 27th, in a 15-foot high steel cage. You two are going to be facing the human wrecking machine, Zeus, and, of course, the Macho King, Randy Savage, in a steel cage, Brutus.
Hey, well, cut my legs off and call us both shorty, brother. Brutus the Barber Beefcake pulled his team through. They're survivors. The Hulksters, brother, the Maniacs. We proved that we're survivors. But on this no-holds-barred Christmas, brother, I just want all the Maniacs to know that it's different than any other cage match in the WWF. We're going out to win this match in this 15-foot high, 15-foot wide steel-tempered cage. But we're also going out there, Barber, to put those two, the Macho King and the Zeus, out of the WWF. But after what went down out there tonight, Brutus, it doesn't seem like this might be our kind of match, brother. The way the human wrecking machine was choking me down, the way he went crazy, the way he was pushing his own team around, it looked like he could manhandle anybody in the arena. That's why, Brutus, you're gonna have to keep the steel-tempered clippers close by the cage, brother.
I saw a little chink in the armor tonight, Brutus.
Well, you know something, that Zeus, he was out of control, Mean Gene. I saw him trying to virtually rip the
Oh, no.
right from the Hulk's shoulders. He tried to tear his head
Wait a minute.
right off.
Just a second.
What's he doing?
You're the sole
Sherry.
survivor, and you beefcake. What are you gonna do when there's no holes barred?
What was that? Look out, it's pandemonium in the locker room. I love it. I don't believe this.
So we see Sherry come in and literally throw baby powder in Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake's face, and they fall over.
And
like
nobody's getting beefcake. I mean, nobody's getting Savage off a beefcake.
No, they're leaving him. Fuck them. Let's save Hulk Hogan. Let's play this audio here.
Giant joined forces with Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Haku, along with fellow teammates, the Rockers and the Busters. It's the Ultimate Warriors against the Heenan family. Team captains Roddy Piper and Ravishing Rick Rude joined forces with fellow teammates Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Mr. Perfect, along with the Bushwhackers and the Fabulous Rougeos. It's Roddy's Rowdies versus Rude's Brood. The Survivor Series continues.
Dude, how fun is the old look and feel of these shows? Hits me in all the right feels.
There you go. And it does. I'll give you a little bit of history on this. It was this show, this night, this building, that Raymond Rougeau retired. And he reminded me of that the other day when he came up to me and said, Bruce, do you know what happened right here 30 years ago? Thinking, and I'm looking at him, I go, so, well, this was where we did the snake. He says, my last match. I retired. And Raymond Rougeau is one of the good guys in the business. Just one of the all-time classy, wonderful good guys.
What about?
I'll see you here, Jess.
How about Jesse's pilgrim hat? Where do you think you guys got that pilgrim hat?
I think Jesse brought it with him.
No, No, you had to source it locally. You went to a store. What was the name of the store? God damn it. We need answers.
No, Jesse went to a store.
What store?
Pilgrim Hats are us and shit.
Thank you. We got there eventually.
Yeah. I just went a little different way.
Man, look at all the fucking mustaches in this shot. I wish we had Mean Gene so we could have 4 of the exact same porn stashes.
Well, there's only 2.
Well, I mean, Lanny's got one. Rude's got one. Both Rougeaus have one.
Jacques doesn't have one, does he?
I don't know. Fuck off, Bruce.
You're just making shit up now, Conrad.
What does it matter?
Perfect doesn't have one. I'm calling the bullshit on this. Sean Mooney doesn't have one.
I didn't say everybody had one.
Oh. Well, fuck.
Yeah, fuck you.
What are we arguing about then?
You just wanted to get loud.
Oh, I do that sometimes.
About a week before the show, Roddy Piper makes an appearance on the Arsenio Hall show. Arsenio Hall, you know, for our younger listeners, fans may not even know that name. But he had a pretty quote unquote hip late night show back in the era where there was just the Tonight Show. Was the, I mean, how did the relationship with Arsenio Hall and the WWF go where you guys got so many appearances there? Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, the Macho Man, Roddy Piper, lots of folks made a stop off on Arsenio's show.
Well, Arsenio was a fan, so that helped a lot in Arsenio and his folks at Book. Hello there, Gene. Oh yeah.
I'm going to play
those stairs are stiff, by God.
Here we go. I'm gonna play this.
You can't. How many times have I told you? How many times have I told you? You can't have lunch till after the. You are being sneaky again. After the match, you can have lunch. You see what? That's okay. After you see what we got is we got bone breakers here. We got people rude up there smiling and laughing and having a great time. Perfect. Easy boys. Don't eat nothing. Oh. Them bones, them big bones, them big bones, them. We're wild, we're bold. We don't do what we're told. Out of your mouth. Leave it. No. Let's go.
All right, some loose cannons here in the form of Roddy's Rowdies. Let's go back to the arena.
Holy Moses, did you see that?
Yeah, we did that.
Was that a Bruce Prichard pre-tape right there?
I was probably running guerrilla at that point. That was probably just a, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. Go get it done. And it happened. Not a whole lot of production per se.
Them bones, them big bones.
You know. The fuck were we just talking about before that, Conrad? You totally forgot.
I didn't forget shit. I was talking to you about Arsenio Hall and how he was.
Oh, Arsenio Hall. Okay, thank you. So Arsenio Hall was a huge fan of WWE, and his booking people also realized that we had strong syndication and that we were just, you know, we had a great following, and they reached out to us, and there was Jay Leno, I guess, at the time, on the Tonight Show, and that was his only competition was Arsenio Hall. And Arsenio went after a completely different audience than what the traditional Tonight Show audience was. Kind of a cooler, younger, hipper audience, which then brought in the WWE stars. And Arsenio loved it. Arsenio liked to have those guys on because he knew the audience that they brought to the table. And it was just one of those really good relationships that was beneficial for both parties.
Man, how about Rick Rude here? Like $1 million.
Yeah. Man, this is right before, you know, Rude was getting ready to go away, finishing up this program. Then Rick was going to go away for a while and just kind of heal up and, in Rick's mind, change his body up a little bit and come back and be a different guy.
And he did.
He did.
When he came back with the short hair, it was a different deal.
It was. And it was, I mean, Jesus Christ, he was in ungodly shape when he came back.
Man, Superfly. his physique here is off the charts.
Yeah, Jimmy was a very, very unique, just physical specimen, man. When he used to, as a kid, climb coconut trees all day long. You know, people think that's oh yeah, Bruce, you're just because he's from the islands. No, Jimmy climbed coconut trees as a kid, you know, forever, and just always was running. He dove, you know, did cliff diving, just did everything under the sun, and was a natural athlete. And somebody saw him in the Hawaiian Islands and said, Jesus, he'd make a hell of a wrestler. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Can you compare the Bushwhackers to any other tag team in history?
There is no comparison, no. And of course, Hot Rod coming out, man, and, you know, again, one of the most unique characters ever in our business, Roddy Piper. Not the biggest guy in the world, but the biggest personality. But the Bushwhackers, you know, here's the crazy thing. You look at how popular that they were in the WWE. They had worked their entire career before coming to the WWE as nasty, bloodthirsty heels.
Right.
Everything about them was blood and guts. You know, it was the gorier, the better, the more violent, the better. And Vince takes one look at him and says, oh my God. Talks to him for a minute and goes, how can anybody boo you? They're the most two lovable guys of it. You know, it's, I don't get it. I see baby faces. And they went on to be two of the biggest character baby faces that the business has ever known. In just one fell swoop like that, they went from bloodthirsty barbed wire matches to, whoa, yay. And doing this shit, and man, now they're in the Hall of Fame for this. And it lengthened their career.
Mr. Perfect, at this point, still undefeated in the company. Does that present a particular set of challenges?
No, not at all. He's still perfect just because he's
not going to lose here. He's going to be the sole survivor, but I'm saying, is that just a no-brainer at this point?
Probably so in this match, but believe it or not, the win, you know, winning and losing, that wasn't what perfect was all about. It was everything else that he could do that was absolutely perfect. He's perfect.
I loved the Mr. Perfect character. By the way, we're home stretching it, boys and girls. After this, we've only got one more match remaining. It's the Ultimate Warriors taking on the Heenan family. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it a little later, but I want to go ahead and jump the gun a little bit. We had a USA special on the USA Network, November 12th, the Survivor Series Showdown. And that is actually taped on November 1st in Wichita, Kansas at the Kansas Coliseum. Vince and Jesse are doing commentary for the show. You'd see Tito Santana, and he's seconded by Dusty Rhodes, pinned the Big Boss Man, who's got Slick and Akeem with him. That's 11 minutes, 35 seconds. Rhodes would hit the Boss Man with his own nightstick behind the referee's back and then place Santana on top of Boss Man. And, there's your finish. Next up, we got Mr. Perfect with the Genius, pinning Bushwhacker Butch with Bushwhacker Luke on the outside. Just under 7 minutes, perfect plex, gets her done. Macho King would have Sensational Sherry with him when he beat Hercules. After just about 11 minutes, he would use Sherry's loaded purse. And when Sherry distracts the referee, boom, we're done. And then the Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, would defeat Tully Blanchard, who had Bobby Heenan in his corner, by DQ. After about 6 minutes, when Arn Anderson would interfere. And after the bout, Jim Neidhart, Shawn Michaels, and Marty Jannetty all make the save. And I believe this is actually Tully Blanchard's last match in the WWF. We'll circle back to that in a minute. The last match on the show here is Ted DiBiase pinning Demolition Smash after 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Of course, Zeus is going to interfere on the floor, and you know what happens from here. We get the $1 Million Dream. Axe eventually makes the save. But the Survivor Series showdown, how do you guys negotiate extra time to essentially be an infomercial for your pay-per-view?
Well, because USA Network, they look at it as, they don't look at it as an infomercial. They look at it as another opportunity for ratings and more eyeballs on their network. And we're looking at it as another opportunity to sell this pay-per-view, and it's cable to cable. If you have cable and can see this, then the majority are then going to have access to pay-per-view. And USA just wanted the content. USA was always looking for unique, different content. And this was a special that they could promote and sell as a special. So it was a win-win for everybody involved. And we obviously didn't present it as, here's an infomercial. It was presented as, hey, here's a preview of one of our bigger events, and we're going to give you that preview here on USA. So it's a little different than we want to do an infomercial.
Let's talk about Tully. What do you remember about Tully's time coming to an end here?
Well, I remember, just getting the news that Tully was gone. And then the rumor and the scuttlebutt was that after Tully had given his notice, Tully and Arn had given their notice, and they were going to go back to WCW or NWA, whatever it was at the time, that, Tully didn't care, and Tully had gone out and partying, and whatever the next day was a drug test, and Tully flunked the drug test. So he was, kind of left with no choice that, well, now you're suspended. You're not even going to get to finish out your notice because you fucked up and just couldn't wait another couple weeks or whatever, however long it was, to go out and party. So that's the scuttlebutt.
The rumor is he fails for cocaine. It's kind of hard to fail a drug test for cocaine, is it not?
I don't know. What?
I mean, you told me that cocaine's out of your system in 24 hours, and that's why it was your go-to in the 80s. Is that not what you told me personally?
Nope,
with your
I never told you that.
No, I mean, I'm making a cocaine reference. Help me understand. Is that the same thing you heard, that he failed for cocaine?
I believe so. Yeah, I do. But I don't know that. I wasn't privy to that shit other than guy's gone. But that is what I heard. Yes.
So when he's advertised for the show, but now he's failed the drug test. I mean, even when you open the show, he's not there, but he's on the video package. Talk me
Do you
through.
think one person bought the pay-per-view or a ticket to see Tully Blanchard? Do you?
Sure. I mean, friends and family.
I doubt it. I think friends and family, especially anybody who knew him, wouldn't buy it.
Boy, you got some low key heat on with Tully. Y'all get along?
Tully and I get along fine now. Actually, Tully and I got along fine then. It's kind of like, I've known Tully since I was 17 years old. Tully taught me how to tie a double Windsor knot in my tie. And we've always kind of had a love-hate relationship. I always thought Tully was an incredible talent in the ring, great worker. But it just, Tully could be an asshole. That's all. Last time I saw him with his daughter at a convention, and we had a very pleasant conversation. He looked great and so on and so forth. We all grow up and change, but at the time, Tully was an asshole.
Give me an example of assholeian behavior from Mr. Blanchard.
Just being a smart ass about, everything. in kind of a holier than thou attitude. There were times back in the day in the Texas territory, I remember, where we would have matches, Gino and Tully as a tag team against like Chavo Guerrero and Manny Fernandez. And they would completely leave Tully out of the match because he was just such a dick. And Tully would come back to the dressing room. Hey guys, thanks for allowing me to be in your match. And it just was difficult to deal with, condescending, arrogant, very cocky. And in San Antonio, he had the book for a long time because there was no one else that would do it because Tully was there. And Tully came with the territory because his dad owned the territory. I think the best thing that happened to Tully was leaving Texas and going to Charlotte because he was in a place where he wasn't in charge. All he had to do was go out and work and perform. And the son of a bitch was a hell of a performer. Just not the greatest, nicest guy in the world.
Talk me through a bushwhacker match in this era.
Well, they've already done about 10 minutes more than they normally do. A normal bushwhacker match pretty much consisted of a whoa and a yay, followed by a bite on the ass, a couple of flailing forearms into a 1, 2, 3. And that was the extent of it. They were blown up by the time they marched to the ring.
Were you for or against some of Mr. Perfect's over the top selling? You saw him just take a big punch from Roddy Piper and turn a flip.
It depended on the situation. I thought that, Kurt, usually, there's your bite on the ass. Kurt usually saved it for the right moment. Sometimes he would get out there and play ha-ha and go over the top. But I always likened it to Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens in the way that they sold, and even Ric Flair, who would do these silly ass bumps just out of nowhere. So they were entertaining. So in the right place at the right time, it's entertaining and it's okay.
It's weird to watch this when you know that we lost Piper, we lost Perfect, we lost Snuka. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little surreal.
Rude's gone. But we got to.
A lot can happen in 30 years.
We got to keep the Genius. We got to keep the Bushwhackers. That's something, I guess.
Referee Freddie Sparta still alive. Shane McMahon, your outside referee, still
he's
kicking.
He's not only alive, he's jumping off shit somewhere.
Somewhere, this is true.
I heard he had a stunt plan for Thanksgiving where he planned to jump off the roof of his mansion, his estate, into a vat of mashed potatoes. Can you confirm or deny?
See, that's rumor and innuendo.
Okay.
He doesn't live in a mansion. He lives in a high rise.
I'm aware, but he's going to jump off that son of a bitch into a vat of mashed potatoes.
Okay. See, and it's fucking dressing.
Oh,
this is where the shit just gets all.
I didn't know that Yankees did dressing. I thought y'all did stuffing up there.
What's the difference?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Please explain the difference.
All right. I'm glad you asked. Stuffing is different.
Please tell me how. Please tell me the difference between stuffing and dressing.
Dressing is made from cornbread, and stuffing it's made from breadcrumbs.
That'd be untrue.
Okay, what is it then?
Stuffing is stuffed into the cavity of the turkey and cooked in the turkey.
Not always. Sometimes it can be stovetop.
Then it's dressing.
No, it's not. Dressing's made in a goddamn oven. In a fucking casserole dish, like a sheet pan.
No, that's dressing.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Stuffing is in the bird.
Or on a stovetop.
No.
Dude, look up stovetop stuffing, you son of a bitch.
Okay. That's not real stuffing.
Wait.
That's a fucking marketing ploy.
You got heat with stovetop?
You want a good recipe? You take your stovetop stuffing. This is for all you bachelors out there. And if you're listening to this on Thanksgiving, you probably are. So you take your stovetop stuffing, all right? And you cook up all your shit. And then when you add it and you stir it all up, when you go to let it set, you take a can of chicken, like instead of tuna fish can, they got the cans with chunk chicken. And you dump that in the stovetop stuffing. And then you stir it all up. And then you let it set. Well, the heat from the stovetop stuffing there at the time, it will warm up your chicken. And then when you get it out, you got like a dish, you got like your chicken and your stuffing and all that shit all in one thing. Yep. You're welcome.
I do want to challenge you to do something today on Thanksgiving. Why don't you gather the family around, get John Paul Shellnut in there, and why don't you and Mr. Shellnut, do a little arts and craft for us this Thanksgiving and post it to social media. I'm thinking we could do the age old tradition of a hand turkey, but we'll do like a wrestling version, hand turkey dicks.
What?
You're going to draw a hand turkey with your penis meat. You got the neck, the feathers, the body will be, your sack meat.
Well, you go ahead and you do that and put on your Twitter account thing.
No, listen, Tony's already done it. We've,
I believe Tony's done it. I believe there's a lot of things Tony's done that you're never going to get me to do. A lot of things. And I do mean a lot of things.
Why won't you even entertain the idea of a hand turkey?
I have no desire to hand turkey.
Dude, do you know how much your daughter would love a hand turkey? She probably made them for you and your son. Both your kids made hand turkeys in school. I know they did. Let Dad make them one.
Okay. I'm going to share another moment of my childhood with you.
Okay.
We had to write a poem, and I had to be about 8 years old, maybe 7, 8 years old, second, third grade, something like that. And we had to write a poem with our hand turkey.
By the way, everybody in the match now is dead, and their faces are on the back of Rick Rude's trunks in front of tombstones. Continue.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Piper and Snuka's faces are in front of a tombstone.
Still out there.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about in the match. Lanny's not in the match.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
So underneath it, you had to write a poem about Thanksgiving. And I'll never forget, my dad helped me write this poem, and I remember it to this day. The turkey gobbles in the yard. To stop him will be very hard. Thanksgiving comes but once a year. Thanksgiving Day will soon be here. That's it. It's like a haiku.
That's really not your best work.
It was for fucking 8 years old.
Well, that's what you did back then, but
I'm going to look and try and find that because I have that somewhere.
How do you spend your days now?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Conrad, these days I've been spend my days working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow, 'cause I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight. You know, my baby's got me wrapped around her little finger, but you know that I will walk through hell and back to be with her, 'cause I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight.
Well, who needs the Macy's Day Parade with entertainment like that?
And damn right, you got Rene Goulet in there trying to break up a fight, but he's like a pantomime in a box.
When did you realize this Survivor Series concept really sucked a dick?
Why? It's great. It's different.
It's taking forever.
Yeah, it's kind of long.
Kind of long. I can't have you shit.
Are we back at Halloween Havoc?
That's what I was about to say, dude. Something
This
about
is
Halloween.
not as long as Halloween Havoc.
No, it's still going somewhere.
Yeah, thank God we cut off Halloween Havoc at the 19th match.